Hello, sixth grade world geography. Just wanted to come to you and talk to you a little bit about revising the benchmark assessment for sixth grade. Back when we met in March, a lot of us agreed that the assessment wasn't quite doing what it was supposed to with measuring the skill of compare and contrast. So I went through and looking back at some feedback, I tried to make an assessment that I thought captured more of what we wanted. Now, I will say that this book here, Compare and Contrast by Harvey F. Silver, guided a lot of what I did, and I really want to encourage you guys to go find this book. You can read the first chapter, Why Compare and Contrast, which gives you the 4 phases of compare and contrast and some examples to show that what we were doing just wasn't quite the skill. We just needed some tweaks to say that we were actually comparing and contrasting. So I'll put that website there in just a little bit. But going back to what I've made, you can see I tried to keep the format similar, but they would go through the 4 phases of compare and contrast as part of the benchmark. So section 1 is describing, and then section 2 is comparing using an organizer. Section 3 would be a conclusion, and we can keep it very, very simple. As you can see, are the 2 countries more alike or different, and explain. Those first 3 steps are for the students to get into the documents and resources and start, formulating what these 2 places really have in common and what is different about them. And then by the time they get to the 4th phase, application, we can even still keep it very much simple as well, asking them to write a paragraph about how they are similar and different. We can ask them to evaluate or make a decision, much like we used to have with the where would you choose to live and why. But based on the research that I've done, they really need to be able to have more direction than just that your family is moving to a location. There needs to be something that they are evaluating, that they're truly weighing some information against another, not just a whole bunch of resources together. The Silver book does a great job of describing critical attributes versus trivial attributes of when you're comparing and contrasting. And I think we saw a lot of that when we were grading our benchmarks, when students would just pick out one thing and latch onto it and try to make sense of it. By breaking it down and keeping it simple with how are they similar and different, it really gets to the meat of the 2 items. And then with grading, we would only be grading the written part. I know we had 4 items, but on this new one, we could just grade number 4, and it wouldn't follow the CWU or CUWU structure. And the reason behind that is because they're not making a claim anymore. And really, that I do agree that using CWU helps a lot because they're learning it in ELA, but this is not, comparing and contrasting is not one in which they need to support a claim. They still need to have evidence, yes, absolutely, and explain that evidence, but the claim is really inherent in a way. We're saying you need to compare and contrast or say what's alike and different. So I know that might be a little bit of unnerving to some, but I think once you read through the rubric, you'll see that I think it captures more of the skill and really allows the kids to grow from beginning to end. So please take a look at all of the information. Noticing down here I included sentence, structure and things like that. We do not have to score that on PARS, but again, it would be important for students to learn the writing and language of compare and contrast. I also created new documents to use for this assessment, mostly based in culturegrams, using the infographics for Canada and Mexico, the land and climate for the two, and then also a chart. I'm not so sure I'm really happy with the chart because it's so similar to number 1, where they are asked to describe the two. This gives them kind of a number 1. So, like I said, I think we could probably potentially eliminate the third document, or maybe just include a map of each region. Although I tried to find maps of each region, and I'm struggling to find just a map of Canada that doesn't include the United States. That's clear and easy to read. But please look through and offer your feedback to Courtney. I'm in the process of trying to make the post-assessment for Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa, based upon this format. But we really need your feedback. So hope you're all having a great summer, and talk to you soon.